In the ceremony of a marriage between two people, the sacred union that binds them together as one, by a famous passage in the Bible of the vows that represents everlasting love. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it is not rude. It is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not delight in evil. It rejoices with the truth. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. It always preserves. Love never fails. But how much of that is true, and what does that even mean? Can we honestly say that our love never envies? Is it never jealous? Does it not insist in our own way? Not resentful, but forgives everything immediately, no matter how great the offence or what it does to another, based on our selfish needs? The question is, how capable are we of loving somebody unconditionally? Under the vows of commitment, in that same passage, it also states, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known." Which brings me to the subject of twin flames. Society on love these days is a battle of the sexes. We were all born with a masculine and the feminine essence within us. It just depends which one is more dominant than the other. The twin flame love is a form of the highest expression of divine love. And as humans looking for love, it is struggling to figure out the messy side of it and the difficult side of human love. We all know the titles of guilt, forgiveness, companionship, and loyalty. And so let's begin with guilt. This is a behavior that is regressive. When we have feelings or mixed feelings about certain situations, our intentions become unclear. This actually stems from self-blame. And what you'll find is that we feel incapable to measure up to another's expectations or even our own. These are all suppressed emotions, so resentment, vengeance, are toxic feelings that actually causes us to be limited and stuck. Practicing sincerity in all of the dimensions of our consciousness and through the assertiveness of our own thoughts, actions, and feelings. And it adapts us to a more constructive position in life. It's a release of that burden that we carry in our hearts for so long. And loyalty applies the disposition to deepen our feelings in all of our relationships. Coming into the act and virtue and the vow of honesty gives us that knowledge of companionship and therefore brings us that gift of commitment. In the topic of twin flames, a passage written by George Eliot wrote, "What greater thing is there for two human souls than to feel that they are joined, to strengthen each other, to be at one with each other in silent, unspeakable memories." In my first video of the twin flames, I did mention that I believe personally that individually all of us are complete as a whole and not half a soul. But the original story does highlight the aspects of a soul living in a human body and also existing as a multi-dimensional being, that the soul was split into two identical parts, each with the same identical soul blueprint but with different purposes. One divided itself into two exactly equal and opposite intonations in order to experience a form. But as the three-dimensional experience, and that being the physical reality that we live in today, being Earth, they became separated by a dualistic system which pulled them into an unbalanced equilibrium, expressing itself through two extended and separated forms. And that's why the twin flame label is in fact rare and one of the most difficult relationships to understand. Truthfully, it all comes down to unconditional love. But it also comes down to humanity. The moment that I questioned my own existence, did I see that humanity in itself was governed by law. And throughout education, in a democratic society, had somehow made us forget our own originality and individuality. When we start to reciprocate society throughout history, the only thing that keeps changing is the evolution of humanity. And even though we have a law for a reason, why do we have other people fighting our own rights and belief? Sometimes it makes me question whether we know our own law. And these are the simple laws that are being debated in a court of law by opposition. But history does show one thing. Humanity is still fighting for claim of power. Power over the population of the public. And that is why I think we are blinded that our own individual status quo was being questioned. This is also permitting us to place ourselves in a strong position against the conflicts that have come to the door of those that would shield love as an ultimate reality. The one powerful emotion above love is hatred and rage, which stems from fear based on human evolution and ascension. In my other Twinflame video, I mentioned that you won't be able to find the answers of whether you've met your twin, because the answers lie within you, but rather guide you guys through personal experience. And how do you know whether you've met your divine counterpart? You didn't ask for it. 2, being that chances are you've met through a set of unusual circumstances. 3, it brings on feelings you never thought possible. 4, neither of you are dependent on the other for your sense of self. 5, you do not compete with one another, nor do you pretend to be other than who you are. 6 is that you experience a sense of completeness that is without comparison. 7, the trust, the patience, and the acceptance of each other's weaknesses happen automatically. 8, time and distance have no meaning. 9, the degree of intimacy and friendship that the two of you develop is without parallel. And 10, there are no restrictions within the relationship. All is freedom without the need for ownership or control. And the one quote I absolutely adore, written by the author Lang Leave: there was a feeling of inevitability when I met you. The sense that we would be together. That there would be a moment when you would look at me in a certain way and we would cross the threshold from friendship into something so much more. We spoke once about lovers who kept finding each other, no matter how many times the world came between them. And I think I had to break your heart, and you had to break mine. How else could we know the worth of what we were given? I think you were always meant to know me a little better than anyone else, and our lives were fated to converge like some cosmic dance. I know that there is terrible distance between us, but our bodies are made of celestial light, and we are hurtling through space and time towards the most beautiful collision. Although it is very similar to the soulmate relationship, what really sets the twin soul union apart from all the rest is the profound degree of completeness and the overwhelming sense of intensity behind the twin union. There is also that very sacred sense of intimacy and feeling of divinely inspired wholeness that one finds within a twin soul relationship. And again, once the eyes of our souls become opened, as time and space warp and transform all, even the past. And the key is to recognize that whatever is happening in your soul connection is a mirror of all the places you do not yet love within yourself. Completely releasing any expectations of a result and embarking on the beautiful and miraculous journey of uniting the masculine and the feminine within us all.